Rick, if there is a God, Tiffany Stratton needs to win this title match. He's got to retain the title.
What is going on, you guys? It is here. Unbelievably, it is WrestleMania weekend, the showcase of the Immortals this weekend in Las Vegas, Nevada. Make sure that you are following along right here on the Takedown on SI YouTube channel, as well as all of our socials. Myself and Zach, we are going to be boots on the ground in Sin City, as long as I am not bum-ass Corbin by this point in the week. I am woefully underfunded for this trip, but we'll see if I can survive 8 days in Vegas, and if I do, we'll make sure to have all that covered for you on the Takedown on SI, as well as here on the Takedown on SI YouTube channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Give this this channel a subscription. We really appreciate all of your support. Earlier this week, we had Zach drop a conversation with Rhea Ripley. I'll be getting some more stuff this week as well with some of your favorite WWE superstars. Zach is here. Ryan Drosty is here this time around. Guys, holy crap. We got 13 matches as of this point, okay? Because things can drastically change because of travel schedules. We're recording this at 7 o'clock. What I say, dangerously recording this at 7 o'clock ahead of the go-home episode of Monday Night Raw. So things can be completely out of, who knows who's in, who's out, who knows. But as of this point in time, this is what we're going to do. And I actually want to start here, guys, because we want to kind of rattle through these quickly. As of right now, Randy Orton does not have a match on the card. He is going to have a match on this card. So, Ryan, I will start with you. 2 questions here. What should WWE do with Randy Orton? And what are they going to do with Randy Orton? Because I feel like those 2 things aren't going to match up.
Yeah, I mean, I think to me the most interesting or appealing one would be Nick Aldis. But it feels, based off of how television went with SmackDown, that it's going to be Solo Sikoa. And I don't know. I've been off the Solo Sikoa train for quite some time now. And I just would be much more interested in seeing Nick Aldis lace up the boots one more time and get in the ring at WrestleMania.
I'll tell you this much. If they were hesitant to do that at all, the crowd reaction from Friday Night SmackDown when Randy Orton even mentioned that as an idea, I was like, oh, okay, there's something here. Like, this crowd at least knows. They know who Nick Aldis is. They know what Nick Aldis can do in the ring. And I think that is, as you said, intriguing. Yeah. To me, Solo Sikoa is anything but. And that is not a knock against the guy. I just know how that's going to go. This is going to be just pretty much a straight up like squash match for Randy Orton. He's going to win with an Solo might get some offense in. So squash is kind of harsh, but yeah. Randy's winning with an RKO. There's no other way that goes.
And also, is that what you want to do with Solo? Is that what you want to do with Solo too? You know, the guy who's been losing steam so much basically ever since Jacob Fatu came on the scene. It just doesn't seem like the best use of him.
Right. Like, I don't think Nick Aldis for a second is winning that matchup, but at least, as you said, it's interesting. Now, where things get very interesting, Zach, is if they go another route that I think they could go, and that's bringing somebody like a Rusev or an Aleister Black and have Nick Aldis set it up on SmackDown like, you know what? No, I'm not going to lace up my boots, but I got the perfect guy who will lace up boots. You'll find out who it is Sunday night at WrestleMania, and they can bring whomever it is out, Cody Rhodes style, whether it's Rusev, Miro, whether it's Aleister, Malachi Black, whatever. One of those 2 guys I think would be perfectly fine, and one of those guys would actually have a shot at winning a match against Randy Orton.
That's what I would like to see them do, to answer your question. You know, I like the idea of Nick Aldis for the reasons that Ryan stated. I prefer to see like authority figures like that, like stay in the authority figure position. And to me, like Nick Aldis plays that authority figure so well on SmackDown that I don't want him to mess with that formula because I think it's really good. So, but I mean, I'm here for it. I'd like to see Aleister Black come back and get the big WrestleMania, entrance. Unexpected. It's a little bit of a surprise. They've been running the vignettes. I mean, we all know how WWE can do production like that. I mean, they could really make that look like $1 million and make Aleister Black coming in to WWE feel like a really big deal. So that's what I want to see them do. It's going to be Solo Sikoa. I don't want to burst anybody's bubble, but That's what it is. I mean, I don't think they do the angle that they did on television if that's not what's happening. And yeah, it's not the greatest spot for Solo, but it's either that or like you're not on the card. So I think I obviously I would take that. But yeah, no, I'm not I'm not going to be bending over backwards to get out of a bathroom or beer line for that match at when I'm inside Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah, and it's nothing personal against Solo. It's just
No.
I'm interested in seeing, and anything that he's been doing right now, like just throwing him haphazardly together with Randy Orton over 2 weeks just seems like a bad choice when he's not really hot right now. Like you're building up Jacob Fatu to take over as that dominant force. So whatever Solo is going to do, just let him do it with Jacob and LA Knight, which is a match we'll get to here shortly. But I do think it's going to ultimately be Solo. Hopefully I'll be pleasantly surprised. I think the Carmelo Hayes ship has sailed because they're setting up a feud. It looks like between, what are they calling themselves? I don't know. Miz and Carmelo Hayes. Sure. That's what we're doing with the Street Profits. It looks like after Mania. I'm pissed the Street Profits aren't on this card. I'm pissed Chelsea Green's not on this card. I'm pissed the women's Intercontinental title's not being defended, but
they're on the card.
They're on the card. There's only so much time, and we don't have a lot of time to talk about it. So let's dive into these matches first. First off, what a debut here for El Grande Americano, who is definitely not Chad Gable, which would suck because I mean, Chad Gable's never had a singles match at WrestleMania, so that would have been a nice nod to give to him. But instead, it's going to be El Grande Americano getting it against Rey Mysterio. Ryan, honestly, I'm a little surprised that this match is on the card. I don't hate it.
How do you generations from now, when people are researching on Google, did Chad Gable ever wrestle at WrestleMania? They're going to be very confused when they say no results. But there's this guy. Is it him? I can't tell. I've been very high at different times on Chad Gable over the years. It seemed like when they were really pushing him towards the IC title there for a little bit, maybe they finally had something in him. I don't know, man. I'm not real high on this character. I'll go with Rey Mysterio.
Zach, what do you think?
I'm going with Rey Mysterio too, but I feel like I'm much higher on this than most people. and I don't even know that I'm proud of myself for that. It's just is the way that it's just the way that it is. I get a kick out of it. I think Gable's great. And there's not many people that can pull this off. And I don't know whether he is or isn't, but it entertains me on a week-to-week basis. And I'm glad Rey gets a singles match on the card.
But you're taking Rey Mysterio?
Yeah, take it, Rey. Yeah.
I'm actually going to take El Grande Americano here to pull off the upset. I gimmick aside, jokes aside, kayfabe aside, I'm very happy for Chad Gable that he's finally getting a singles match here at WrestleMania. And if anybody could actually make this gimmick work, it is him. I think he's got the chops to make anything work. I think he could have made Shorty G work if it wasn't, for the creative forces at play back when that happened. But he's back to being Chad Gable. Well, now El Grande Americano. But I think there's going to be an instance here where Rey kind of accidentally unmasks him, and it turns out to be Gable, and then Gable takes advantage of the would-be distraction or whatever it is and locks him in the ankle lock and ends up picking up the win. So I'm going to go El Grande Americano in an upset here. For the first time in 18 years, we have a non-title singles women's match on the card, and it ain't no Playboy pillow fight. It ain't no cat fight or mud wrestling or any of that old tired BS. It is one of, honestly, the best stories that WWE has going heading into WrestleMania right now. And I would argue that includes both of the women's championship matches that are on this card right now. It is Jade Cargill. It is Naomi. Ryan, how do you see this one going?
Yeah, I got to go with Jade here. I got to say that going into this, if I would have been booking it, I probably would have gone in the reverse way and had Naomi the babyface and Jade the heel. But with that said, Naomi's done an awesome job in the heel role. So I got to give credit to her for sure. I feel like they got to put over Jade here and, build her back up now that she's back on a weekly basis and give her a dominant win here.
Oh man, I want to take Jade too, but I think that there's more to the story. And that's why I'm going to take Naomi. I'm going to take Naomi just for the backlash is soon. You know, they're going to have more matches to do down the road. I think the way to get more out of those matches is if you put Naomi over. She's done a tremendous job as a heel, like during this turn and during her feud with Jade here. So I think there's potential if she kind of gets a little momentum coming out of the win. Plus, you know, if there's any other curveballs within this story, if Bianca Belair goes heel, you know, if she gets involved somehow at WrestleMania to cost Jade Cargill this match to fully, you know, side with Naomi, I think that happens here. So I'm going to take Naomi.
I want to pick Naomi because I love this character that she's portraying, and she is doing such a great job of really making you like come to her side of thinking on this, where it's like, no, I'm not wrong on anything that I've done. You may not agree with the tactics that I've used, but I'm justified in my actions. And anybody who can like literally like tie razor blades into their hair and make it freaking work, like everything she's doing right now, you know, the caution, the catchphrase, everything, like I can't help but think back to just 5-6 years ago where they were telling her to go start a feud off of a karaoke contest. And now this is what we're getting. Like, holy crap, how far have we come? I would love to see her get a heel run with the WWE Women's Championship over the summer. I'd love to see her dethrone Tiffany personally, but I don't think that's the direction WWE is going to go. I think it's going to end up being Jade who gets the win. But if anything, Naomi's earned more opportunities down the line. Don't care for the build so much, but the match itself is going to be, phenomenal. The pun intended here. Logan Paul's great in the ring. AJ Styles, we know what he can do. I'm afraid for AJ Styles because I just don't see them having Logan Paul lose on the big stage again. What do you think, Ryan?
No, I agree. And, you know, this could be AJ's last WrestleMania match. You know, a lot of questions about his future. You know, I was kind of thinking about AJ's run in the WWE and like, what's his iconic WrestleMania match? You know, for a guy who's one of the best performers of his generation, and really like his best WrestleMania match is probably the one against Shane,
yeah,
which is wild. So, and there wasn't much competition on that show for match of the night, but I think that probably was on that night. So. Yeah, I just don't see him getting the win here either. To your point, Rick, I think it'll be a really good match. You know, anytime Logan has plenty of time to prepare and he's training and Sean's giving him pointers, he comes out and has an awesome match. And I'm sure this is going to be a really good one. But yeah, I think Logan will be on the winning side.
I hate giving him credit for anything, but
I know
he's good.
Yeah,
he's really good.
Well, at least they finally got him, you know, cast correctly. Remember when they were pushing him as a babyface and everyone would boo him? Like, what are we doing here? Everyone wants to boo this guy. At least they finally got him on the right side.
Man got booed in his own hometown wearing Cleveland Browns gear. Like, what are we doing?
Right. Yeah.
What do you think,
Zach? I'm taking Logan Paul too. I wish I could make a case for AJ Styles here, but I really can't. I mean, this is a moment though for AJ to have a good match and for Logan to have a good match. But look, if Logan Paul is going to mean something on these shows, whichever show that he, you know, graces us with his presence for, whether it's WrestleMania or SummerSlam or whatever, you know, he's got to get some wins somewhere in here. And this is like he did with Ricochet, you know, this is a good match for that to happen. AJ Styles has some clout. He's got some, you know, credibility and Logan Paul can gain something from getting that win here. So definitely Logan Paul, but I think this is a sneaky potential, you know, good match on the show.
We got a Sin City street fight. It is Damian Priest. It is Drew McIntyre, a story that is quite literally a year in the making from when Damian Priest cashed in Money in the Bank on Drew McIntyre. This is one of those programs when it was first rumored, Ryan, that people weren't really all on board. But when you stop and think about it, yeah, there actually is a lot of backstory there between these two. Their first couple of encounters, I think that was kind of during that, I'll call it a cursed early run with Damian Priest in his world title reign, where it just seemed like everything was going wrong for the guy. But he seems to be back in full swing and, you know, more comfortable now. Notice that with a lot of people, right? Like Nia Jax was one, Liv Morgan was one. It's like when they were champion, like they weren't doing their best work. Now that they don't have the title on them anymore, they're back to doing their best work again. It's really kind of weird how that happens. I think Damian Priest has been that same guy. How do you see this one play out?
Yeah, to the point that Zach made earlier about Backlash, I see this as one they'll run back at Backlash. So I'll go with Drew here. And then, Damian coming back, trying to get his win back at Backlash. I'm really looking forward to this. Like you said, I think they've done a really good job in building it up. Going into Elimination Chamber, there was all these rumors about, what direction they were going to go when it seemed very clear that Drew and Damian, like they were paired up for WrestleMania. But then, Drew was being talked about maybe as a title contender, and we didn't really know what was going to be happening. But I think that was just to throw everyone off the scent when those rumors started to come out. This was obviously the direction all along, and they've done a tremendous job in building up to it. So, yeah, I'll take Drew, and then I think they run it back at Backlash.
This is one of the best built matches on the show. I mean, and it's not a main event, and it's not for a championship, but it's a really good like rivalry match and a good, I think, match for Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre to have together. Both of them obviously would want to be in main events and would want to be wrestling for titles and whatnot, no question. But I think they've taken what they've been given here and turned it into something pretty darn cool for these shows. So I'm going to go Drew McIntyre too. He's got just, to me, more upside, than Damian Priest does. I think Priest is kind of at his level, I think he is where he's going to be. And that's a darn good spot, no question. But Drew is a guy that, you get him hot enough, he can wrestle in main events. He can wrestle, the Cody Rhodes of the world, and I don't know, anybody on Raw, Seth Rollins again. You can do CM Punk again. Obviously, Roman you can do as a babyface. There's a lot of options with him as a heel, and so I would just let him run with that. He's had been asked to do a lot of business these last, couple years whilst he's been on this really, really great run. He lost the feud to CM Punk. He lost the world championship, at WrestleMania last year with the cash in. Like, he's been asked to do a lot, but he still has momentum. And I would feed that here with a WrestleMania W.
If Cody Rhodes wins, and I'm not saying he is, but if Cody Rhodes wins, to me, this is the number one contenders match.
There you go. Yep.
Right. Like, so this is like where whoever comes out of this is lined up for Cody. And you've had both of these guys talk about how they want a shot at Cody and want a shot at the WWE Championship. Randy Orton as well. So depending on what Randy Orton does or does not do coming out of WrestleMania, that could be big. Obviously, Miro and Aleister Black, they could upset that apple cart as well. But for right now, I consider this to be the number one contenders match. And just after literally an entire year of Damian Priest going over on Drew McIntyre, it's time for Drew McIntyre to get one on Damian Priest, and I'm going to go Drew McIntyre. We have our first championship match that we're going to talk about. This is completely out of order, by the way, if you haven't noticed. We have the World Tag Team Championships that are going to be on the line. It is the War Raiders defending against the New Day, the hated New Day, and that is just still Kofi Kingston without a mustache is just unsettling. Like, it's just, I don't like it. I'm getting that off there. It makes it feel awkward. Just weird. I feel like the New Day win this one going away, Ryan. I think they're going to get it. And I think they kind of need it, right? After it feels like they've cooled off after the Big E, heel turn. Then they're still universally hated, but it feels like they didn't really strike while the iron was hot. The iron's kind of lukewarm right now. I think a tag team title run could heat them back up.
Yeah, I have to go with him. Or with them. I don't see this going either way. I just, the bigger point is this tag division is just less than lukewarm right now. And, my question in the tag division, and it's going to depend on some of the other matches we're talking about here, but, how long is it going to be until the Lucha Bros come together and get into the tag team? If you put them in the tag division, things get spicier. That's for sure. It starts heating up a little bit. Right now, it's like, all right, New Day, they got the star power, put it on them again. But, there's just not a lot out there for them to work with that's fresh. Certainly that's fresh. But yeah, I'll go with them.
Yeah, they need to shuffle some things up because, like, honestly, I'm surprised. And granted, I think I put the New Day, as far as like a tag team is concerned, right? Like, I put the New Day up there with like Randy Orton as a singles competitor. Like, if you have a healthy Randy Orton, you're putting him on the WrestleMania card. I put the New Day in that category as far as tag teams, right? So you have the healthy New Day, you're going to put them on the WrestleMania card. But for me, like, they really just started building this a couple weeks ago where they have an entire SmackDown tag team division that is 5 deep that they have invested months in building into, and they're the ones that are not on the WrestleMania card. I find that very, very interesting. could still find a way on there. All right. Maybe, potentially. Who knows what happens on SmackDown? I know the Street Profits are defending against the Motor City Machine Guns. There could be shenanigans. Maybe Miz and Carmelo get involved and we get another match on WrestleMania Sunday. Who knows? But this is the one we got. I feel like the New Day wins. Zach, where are you going?
Yeah, sorry, War Raiders. This is New Day all the way. I mean, the reason this match is on the show is because of the New Day and their heel act. I mean, there's, and you just outlined, there's a better case to be made for the SmackDown title match being on the show, except for the fact that it's New Day. And so it's about them, and it'll be about them, when the match is over too. So yeah, New Day to win the titles.
We have the women's tag team championships on the line. The most accomplished tag team in the division's history, the first time ever 3-time women's tag team champions, against the team that literally tagged for the first time the other day and beat the entire division. It is Lyra Valkyria, the women's intercontinental champion, and Bayley. Had to get Bayley on the card somewhere. And this right here, if I can just rant for a quick second. I know we're trying to fly through.
Yes, go.
Fly through here. Wouldn't it have made so much more sense to just continue the Bayley Roxanne rivalry and incorporate Lyra Valkyria into that and have there be a triple threat match for the women's intercontinental championship instead of just shoehorning Bayley and Lyra together as a tag team and like having Lyra again challenge after a title that is other than focusing on defending the one that she has and then just leaving Roxanne out there in purgatory begging for matches on pay-per-views. None of that makes any sense. I digress. I think this is honestly just to get Bayley and Lyra on the card. I don't see them winning. I think Liv and Raquel retain. Ryan?
Yeah. Liv and Raquel are going to retain. They're going to build up, probably some heat with Bayley and Lyra coming out of their match, before. And they have no chance of winning this, I don't think. I think this is pretty close to a lock that Liv and Raquel retain.
Guys, 0% chance that they zero. Let's call it like it is. Yeah, no, this is they're a hodgepodge tag team thrown together. This is to get Bayley on the card, like you said, Rick. And the bigger stuff to do is with Bayley and Lyra afterwards, perhaps. So, 100% that Raquel and Liv are gonna retain. They're getting their titles back here.
Even more puzzling, by the way, about that gauntlet match that we had on Friday. No Nia and Candice LeRae after the year that they had.
Yeah, that's weird.
And they just leave Alexa and Nikki on the bench because Uncle Howdy's hurt. You couldn't have Alexa just carry that for a little bit and just take the reins over and, whatever, and have him record some videos. Like, it just feels like there's so much they could have done, and they just decided, we'll just go and we'll throw, oh, yeah, Natty and Maxine. That makes sense. We'll just stick them out there and we'll have them lose. Things like this just make me mad. Like, I'm happy for Jade and Naomi, but it's like, on the other hand, you're pissing me off with some of this women's division booking that you're doing. We got the United States Championship on the line. LA Knight. No, I don't feel good about this for him. Again, unless Solo Sikoa screws it up for him, I think that's the only caveat, right? Because other than that, I think LA Knight is getting absolutely demolished, Ryan.
Yeah. Jacob Fatu has to go over here, like you said, unless Solo gets involved. I mean, I would start Jacob Fatu here with his first singles gold, and I would have him just be dominant for months and months and months until they're ready to put him in the world title picture. I mean, the guy has star written all over him. He could be in that top of the card tomorrow if they wanted him to be. So I feel like this is just something, make him look dominant for several months in a row and then, elevate him. I'd love it if by the time, he gets into that world title picture, if he still has the title and you got the, the US champion against the world champion.
Zach, what do you think?
21 years ago at WrestleMania 20, a little guy named John Cena won the United States Championship in the opening match against Big Show. And it was a moment. It was a moment where you're kind of like, all right, there's something there with that John Cena guy. Next year, WrestleMania, he's in one of the main events, winning the WWE Championship. This is that match for Jacob Fatu. I mean, this is his first WrestleMania, first opportunity at a title, singles match. a lot going for him here. And yeah, you feed that. You get him this win. And so I'll be very disappointed if LA Knight isn't lying in a heap in the middle of the ring by the time this is over, because this is all about Fatu, and I expect him to win and win definitively.
I don't feel good about this. We have all agreed on the last 5 matches. That's not good. Here we go. Maybe we'll disagree on this one. We got 4 options on this one. The Intercontinental Championship is on the line. It is Braun Breaker defending against Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. Ryan, which way are you going?
This one's a really tough call. I think selfishly, I almost don't want Penta to win because I want to see the Lucha Bros unite sooner rather than later to make the tag division more interesting. I could see him winning. I could see Dom sneaking out with the title here. I tend to think it is going to change hands, though. So I've kind of been going back and forth between Dom and Penta. I think I'll just go Penta because he's the hot new name, but I don't really have a good feel for who's going to walk out with the title here.
I think this is going to be more straight up. I think this is going to be Braun Breaker spears everybody and retains the title. Because there's 4 guys in it, you can really protect Braun Breaker in losing the belt here. So I want to call out that's definitely a potential. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's going to be Breaker's time to do anything at a higher level on Raw, coming out of this immediately anyway. So I say they make him look really strong. Spear, victory. Sorry, Finn Balor, you're doing a job.
Finn Balor is doing the job.
Yes.
Finn Balor is getting speared. But then Dominic Mysterio is shoving Braun Breaker out of the ring and stealing that pin like his real father taught him to do. Dominic Mysterio is stealing the Intercontinental Championship.
Yes.
At WrestleMania 41 and making Eddie proud. That is exactly what is happening. We got the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. It is Gunther. It is Jey Uso. Are we going to be yeeting deep into the night, Ryan? Is it finally Jay's night?
I mean, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, Rick. So if you want to yeet into the night, you go yeeting. But I think Jey Uso is the first guy out of the curtain, gets that crowd going on night 1, and he walks out with the world title. I just don't see any way that you can beat him here again. He's lost, how many times in high profile matches now to Gunther.
I think is what the official
record
is.
So I mean, how can you possibly beat the guy? The guy's over as crazy. I mean, I'm not as high on him as some other people are, but I get that the fans are remarkably behind him. And if he's one of the top pushed guys on your show, you cannot beat him in WrestleMania, after he lost at Saturday night's main event, recently to Gunther. You just can't do it. So I think Jey Uso wins the title here.
I mean, if you do it, if you have Gunther win here, Zach, what's the point of having Jey win the Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
Other than to just say, hey, look how far he's come. He won the Royal Rumble. It was a great moment, right? We're about making moments, but if the moment don't mean dick in the long run.
Yeah, this is the moment. Honestly, I think 3 weeks ago, you could have looked at this thing and went, oh man, it's off the rails. So we're just going to put Gunther over and have that be the end of it, because it's just didn't work. Whatever. 10-week build, lots of things working against it because of that. But I think they got it right the last 2 weeks in particular. The angle with Jimmy was really good. And you cannot have Jey cut the promo that he did last week in the middle of the ring on Raw 2 weeks before WrestleMania. That's the promo. That's the moment where you put it all on the line as a babyface, and the crowd's with you. He's putting it out there. You got to make good on that. If he cuts that promo and gets beat, Jay's done for you as an upper tier babyface. It kills in all momentum. So absolutely he wins here. And I think the match, I think they start the show off really hot and do a title change right out of the gate on night 1.
It would be very Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania 35 type situation.
Yeah.
Right? Come straight out of the gate, and you could do something very similar style booking, honestly, in that match if you wanted to that would not quell the Jey can't work and he's only super kicks and splashes crowd, right? It wouldn't do that, but you could do very similar booking there. I'll say this much though. Over the last few weeks, we've really started to see what kind of sinister, just badass world heavyweight champion that Gunther can be, that he should have been for a long time now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do we really want to stop this? Do we really want to stop this right now? Or do we want to create the most nuclear, white hot heat surrounding your top heel champion by having him brutalize, bloody up, and I'll say the dreaded B word, bury the guy who won the Royal Rumble and was supposed to be out here fighting for his mom and his brother? I'm taking Gunther in an upset.
Ooh,
Wow.
I like that pick. Now, like, here's the thing too. There is, possibilities for him coming out of this. I mean, CM Punk will be waiting more than likely. Roman Reigns will be waiting more than likely. Like, there's big matches for Gunther to have too. So I like that pick. I like, you had the balls to do what I did not, Rick.
Like what?
Nor I.
Okay, Jey wins the title, and I'm going to steal a line from SP3, right? And then what? Who's his challenger? Is it Gunther again? Like, who's the next?
Probably.
That didn't stop him from Cody last year. He had nobody lined up for Cody.
You're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. But it's like, yeah, who's next up? Like, who challenges? Like, do you do the draft? You got to shake things up. Like, who do you got to bring over? What heel is out there? They have so many over baby faces. Like, I feel like they could almost, I hate to use this term, sacrifice Jey a little bit, but I don't think a loss even hurts him. Honestly, the crowd has been so behind him. He's kind of like got that LA Knight bulletproof effect where it's like so many things should have killed him and it just hasn't. And the crowd is still behind him. I don't know. I feel like Gunther's just starting to do his best work. And I know Triple H, he loves himself a long, dominant Gunther title reign. I don't think this one ends. We have Tiffany Stratton going up against Charlotte Flair. This one's gotten very spicy in the last couple of weeks. I said this on a couple of shows now. That promo exchange that they had on Friday night SmackDown, where it just went completely off the rails. Ryan, I equated that to Apollo 13, where it was a successful failure. Okay, this did not go according to plan whatsoever. But the outcome has been people are a lot more interested in this feud and this matchup than they were heading into that very personal promo exchange that went way off script, where both ladies definitely crossed the line. Whether or not their reported backstage heat on both of them does anything to change the outcome of this match, I don't know, but I'm more interested to see how it plays out. How do you think it plays out?
Rick, if there is a God, Tiffany Stratton needs to win this title match. He's got to retain the title. You gotta have Tiffany. I'm sorry. I mean, Charlotte ranks highly in the pantheon of women's champions in WWE. I would not in a million years have her beat Tiffany here. I just think it's the wrong call. I think it'd be tone deaf with the audience. I wouldn't do it. I would, put over Tiffany, have her beat a legend. Charlotte's achieved legend status in the women's division at this point, I think, in her career in WWE, certainly in their minds. So you put over Tiffany strong here. I think back to when they had Charlotte beat Rhea, when Rhea was coming up. Was that
36?
The pandemic one in the Performance Center. And Rhea came into that year feeling like the hottest thing in the women's division. And when she lost to Charlotte, it just killed all of her momentum. And it took her a while to get it back. Now, obviously, she's incredible now again, but it took her a little bit while, to build back up to where she had been. I don't think that Tiffany would be hurt that much, but man, I wouldn't risk it. I'd put Tiffany over here.
Zach?
Brian, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, Zach.
This is going to go exactly like that Rhea match.
Oh,
I think they're going to have a good little match, but Triple H, if he loves long Gunther title reigns, he loves even more than that Charlotte Flair title reigns. This is Charlotte. This is Charlotte. For better or worse, she's gonna take the championship here and begin what is a long feud between her and Tiffany Stratton. I don't see Charlotte coming back, and just immediately kind of playing second fiddle to Tiffany Stratton. Plus, the feud is what it is, and Charlotte has been awful in it. Tiffany hasn't been that much better in it either. Like I think that she's still just not quite, on that level. Now, I still think if it were me making the decision, you go with Tiffany here for all the reasons that you articulated correctly so. But I'm not in charge, and Triple H is, and I think you're going to see Charlotte Flair win the title here.
You have a chance to really kind of make Tiffany Stratton here by giving her this win. And not only that, but like solidifying her as a babyface, because she's still kind of been a tweener. Like the start of this feud, they had Charlotte as the babyface, and Tiffany was, again, kind of like playing the bad girl kind of. And the only reason they, even started the tweener thing is because she was going up against Nia, right? And it's like they wanted to like flip her back. They've been doing things really, really weird with this. It just got good because the girls decided to say F it, and we're just gonna go completely haywire with this. I don't see this ending. I don't see this ending. Man, this is tough. I'm with
I'm right.
I'm
right.
with Ryan on this one, where I'm like, I really want to see Tiffany hang on to this championship, but nothing that has happened in the better part of 6 months has made me think that anything good is going to happen. So Charlotte Flair is going to win the title. That's just where I'm at right now.
To Zach's point, I wanted to say something real quick. To Zach's point about how neither woman has been very good, accurate. But Charlotte's been around for how long? Like I could forgive Tiffany on that. She's still new, but Charlotte, who's been on this main roster for a decade, for her to be coming across this poorly on television, come on, man.
The material that they've gotten has not been good. It has not been great whatsoever. Like it is amazing to me how the same staff who can create Jade and Naomi has come up with this for Charlotte and Tiffany. And again, it really only started getting good because they started throwing personal barbs at one another and crossed the line and this, that, and the other thing. So it's been good for the last 2 weeks. It was awkward, right? It was a little awkward on that Friday, but again, it got people talking about it and it got people invested in it. They did that, not WWE. This was poorly written. Again, anytime they try to make Charlotte a babyface, she's not good at it. That is her Achilles heel. She is not likable on the microphone. She's just not, and that's fine. Doesn't mean we hate her as a performer or think that she can't wrestle. Or clearly, she's one of the best all-time greats in the women's division. Tiffany should go over. She's not, but Tiffany should go over. In a showcase of what I consider to be the next generation of NXT women's stars, we talk about the 4 horsewomen. Well, I come up with a name for these 3. It's Rhea, it's IYO, it's Bianca. It's that next generation of NXT women's superstars, and they are getting a chance to showcase here. This is very, very interesting. You're talking about IYO SKY here, Ryan, defending her women's world championship against 2 women who already have very, very impressive WrestleMania resumes. Bianca has not lost yet outside of a pre-show women's battle royal that she did not win. I don't count that. Neither does she. But she is undefeated at WrestleMania. And Rhea Ripley has been on this card 6 consecutive years. 5 of them have been world title matches, and she has won every single one of them, minus WrestleMania 36, where she should have held on to her NXT title against Charlotte Flair. Again, another reason why I'm going with Charlotte. I don't know on this one. I genuinely don't. Like, the story to me screams IYO should win, because IYO is the one that's been literally pushed to the background and disrespected week in and week out because Rhea and Bianca just want to throw haymakers at one another. The story to me is to have IYO be the dominant one and walk out with the title.
I have not liked the build to this. I haven't liked how they made it a triple threat. To your point, I think straight up Bianca Rhea is like a main event caliber WrestleMania match, and I was really excited to see those two on that stage. And then it just felt super awkward how they just inserted Io into there, kind of out of nowhere. And my only rationale for them doing that is basically for them to move the title over to Bianca without having Rhea lose it to Bianca, and then they run it back later on. So maybe like it's a SummerSlam match. I don't know. I think Bianca's gonna win the title here for that reason. They tried to protect, I guess, Rhea in the way that she lost the title. She was distracted with Bianca being out there and everything. So I think they'll continue to play into that, and they'll drag out this singles feud between Bianca and Rhea. I would love to see Bianca Belair turn heel. I think it would be super fresh. I would love that angle for her to be teaming up with Naomi, with what's going on with Jade, like you mentioned earlier, Rick. But I think a Bianca heel turn, her as the champion with Rhea as a face chasing, has a lot of money in it. That's the direction I would go.
She's getting booed. Like she's
Yeah.
getting booed in this. And I think they put Io in this match because frankly, she earned her spot over the last 2 years. She's been bell to bell the best women's wrestler on the roster.
Yeah. No question, but
like,
it just didn't feel like there's no question about her talent. I mean, she's one of my favorites. It's just she didn't really fit into the picture at all. Like it came out of nowhere, storyline wise, is know what I'm saying. She definitely 100% deserves to be there. She might be my favorite women's wrestler in WWE. It was so out of nowhere. And I had the same thought when the original singles match was announced, when it was going to be babyface Bianca against Rhea. My thought was nobody's going to cheer for Bianca in that. Everyone's going to cheer for Rhea because she's so over. So you almost have to make Bianca a heel. Then they inserted Io, so they haven't really gone fully down that path. But I think if you move the title to Bianca, I think she does have to go heel almost to make sense of, to have Rhea chasing her and then finally capitalize on doing that singles match on a PLE down the road.
And I think that would automatically move Bianca to Monday Night Raw, right? Because the title stays on the brand, right? So we wouldn't have two heel women's champion. Although you picked Tiffany to win, so in your bracket, your scenario, we wouldn't have two women's champions that are heels. Anyway, Zach, how do you see this one going?
Yeah, this is the tough one, but I think I'm going to take Io because I think that the story here is that, I mean, and Rhea in the interview that I just did with her that you can catch on the channel now kind of talks through the whole storyline. And the premise is Io's being overlooked. Io's being overlooked because, Rhea and Bianca have so much history together that they're focused on one another. And so Io's overlooked. That's played out on television in that way with just their total dismissal of her as the world champion. So I think you would kind of, I think that the Triple H is playing the card of, hey, everyone thinks we're going to go one way or the other on this. So let's double down and surprise everybody again with IYO SKY. Backlash is around the corner. If we want to get the title on Bianca Belair for the exact scenario that you're calling out, Ryan, which is like, hey, the big Rhea versus Bianca match. Yeah, we can do that, but doesn't mean we have to change the belt at WrestleMania. So I'm gonna say that they continued on the path with the storyline that they're in, and I think Io, kind of gets that shock sneaky victory.
Mommy is always on top.
Finally, we have one of these where we're all picking different ones.
Well, I was leaning towards Io, and that's what I was going with my setup. But I'm just sitting here, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? It's about making moments, right? It's about making moments. One of the underlying stories is that Rhea has never defeated IYO SKY. So if you can have Bianca be the one to kind of incapacitate Io, Rhea takes out Bianca and then capitalizes off Bianca's work to beat IYO SKY. Well, now all of a sudden, right, you have another little subplot that down the line you can continue Rhea and Bianca, because if one of these two, if Rhea wins, Bianca goes back to SmackDown. Now, granted, they have the draft, they can shuffle things up, but I'm thinking, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if Rhea wins the world title? She's hoisting it up. She's celebrating. She's looking over her two down foes, and she is standing unequivocally the top of the women's division. And then they hit Becky's music, and she comes. And they have. I think that would be a great way to incorporate Becky back into it. But even if that doesn't happen, I just get this gut feeling that Rhea is going to walk away with that. Let me get back to my stuff here. All right, we're down to our 2 main events here, guys. The night one, the Saturday main event. Closest thing we're ever going to get to a Shield triple threat at WrestleMania, because we know Jon Moxley ain't coming back anytime soon. It is Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, with Paul Heyman in his corner. Ryan, how do you see this one going down?
Real tough call on this one, too. I've thought about this one a lot. I've been preaching this for a while, so I'm just going to go into it. I'll say Punk wins in his first WrestleMania main event, and I think long-term, and oh, by the way, I've been thinking about this one as the number one contenders match. To your point earlier about Drew and Damian, I've been thinking about whoever wins this taking on Cody, perhaps. And I would love it so much if CM Punk won and went heel and went after babyface Cody Rhodes. I think that would be such an awesome program. I don't know that they're going to go that direction because Punk moves so much merchandise, but I'm going to fantasy book it. I'm going to say CM Punk, and they move him into a feud with Cody.
Zach?
Man, this is one that we definitely need to stipulate. We're recording this before Raw, which is like the final big go-home segment.
It's actually going on now. We need to hurry up.
Going on right now. Okay. So we got to hurry up for that reason. So, major chapter missing. However, here's the thing. I don't want to forget that Roman Reigns is in this match. Roman Reigns doesn't lose too often at WrestleMania. So, I'm taking Roman Reigns. I'm going to just... there's a promo that everybody needs to see that he put on social media this afternoon. And it's a pretty cool, like ominous, dark thing. And it kind of signals to me that a new mindset, maybe like a new perspective coming from him. And it's Roman Reigns. He's the big star in your company, one of the top guys. The other guys, certain possibilities, no question about it. But I'm going to lean on history here, and history tells you Roman Reigns is not losing in the main event of WrestleMania. I'm taking Roman.
See, it's interesting. You say you want people to not forget that Roman's in this match. I kind of feel that way about Seth because with Paul being like the central figure of the storytelling, it's like, boy, they really had to work their way to kind of shoehorn Seth into this with this whole, well, you owe me a favor because I didn't kick your ass thing that they did a week ago, right? So that being said, I agree with Ryan on this one. I do consider this the number one contenders match if John Cena wins, because I think you go John Cena, if he wins, right, you can do him and Orton Backlash in St. Louis, and then after that, a babyface CM Punk against a heel John Cena, do a complete reverse with John Cena doing his Summer of Punk routine. It's way too poetic not to do.
Yeah.
I just see that's the way that you're going. I don't know how you get there if Punk loses this matchup, so I'm going with Punk to win. The question is, does John Cena win? Cody Rhodes, John Cena. This is the 4th consecutive WrestleMania main event for Cody Rhodes, which in and of itself deserves a round of applause. That is just absolutely remarkable. Like, call him what you want. Call him what he wants you to call him, the QB1. He is the new guy. He is the John Cena in WWE right now. Single-handedly, like, changed the wrestling industry when he came back. Changed the course of WWE when he came back. And there's no hyperbole in that statement whatsoever. That said, John Cena has said he doesn't view Cody Rhodes as a QB1. He sees him more as the number one draft pick they brought in to replace him, and he ain't good enough to walk in his boots, and he is going to bury mediocrity, and he's going to take the WWE Championship into retirement and destroy the entire company by taking their lineage and their top prize, which to me, I'm asking, okay, why would The Rock as a TKO board member be cool with that? But I digress. We're still missing that one little tie-in there with the whole Rock. I feel like this whole feud, I've been watching a Quentin Tarantino movie where we're getting little bits of the plot in different spots of the arc, and hopefully one day all of this makes sense once we see the entire picture, Ryan, but I digress. Is there any way, shape, or form that they do all of this with John Cena to have him lose to Cody Rhodes in the main event of WrestleMania?
I've been going back and forth on this one too, and I think you kind of sold me with the Punk angle. I'm a little skeptical they would turn Punk still yet at this point in time. And we had the article up earlier today. They just released a bunch of new Punk merchandise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of babyface Punk with the heel Cena running that back throughout the summer. Originally, when Cena turned heel, I said on my show that I think he almost has to win the title here. And then I kind of went back to Cody for a little bit as I saw like the build playing out. But I think I agree with you now. I think I'll stick with Punk, and I like Cena winning the title here, and then going into that feud, rekindling that from over a decade ago. I think that'll have a huge nostalgia factor. When they wrestled in the Elimination Chamber for a few minutes, it was super cool to see those two guys going at it again. So yeah, I'd like that being a title feud again this summer. So I'll take John Cena. I'd give, if that happens, I'd give Cody a little bit of time off. They probably don't want to give him too much time off, but I'd give him a little bit of a break.
It depends on how bad he's brutalized. Like,
yeah.
I feel like we need to see The Rock here, right?
Yeah.
I feel like The Rock has to get involved in this.
Yeah.
Not only do they beat Cody Rhodes, but they beat Cody Rhodes, and they leave him a bloody mess, and maybe he doesn't come back until WrestleMania Backlash when they do maybe a similar thing to Randy Orton, right? And you could do an entire storyline based off of that. But the entire summer of Punk, summer of Cena, re-rack with Punk going after the big bald fraud, and he said, hey, look, I'm coming after both you big bald frauds, so maybe The Rock can get involved with that as well. Maybe down the line we get Rock and Punk again, and we could just get the entire nostalgia fest rolling with this. What if at some point down the line we got Cody and Punk versus Rock and Cena? There's a lot that you honestly could do with all four of those guys. So yeah, sign me up for that. I do think Cena wins this. That to me is not in doubt. Whether or not this is a good match, that to me is the question, because we have not really seen John be able to put together a good singles match in quite some time, and he's only getting older. The last time we saw him in a singles match at WrestleMania was a very pedestrian performance against Austin Theory. It wasn't bad, but by comparison to the rest of the show, it failed to live up to the biggest thing I remember honestly from that match was him coming down with a bunch of Make-A-Wish kids, and then he lost. Like, that's the biggest thing that I remember from that match. So I think Cody can get him there. Maybe John proved that he's got a little bit more left in the tank. Maybe he'll be a little bit more motivated to put on a better show, considering it is the main event and he's going to win his 17th world title. We'll see. I hope so. I have faith in that. But Zach, how do you see this one going down?
John Cena, number 17. I think he's going to win it here. I think he's going to win. I think The Rock's going to be involved, certainly. And then I think, you put Cody back on the chase. That drew you a lot of money, for if you're Paul Levesque and you're WWE. So you put him back on that chase and then see what happens next. But yeah, look, you did a lot here with John Cena, a lot. They turned John Cena heel. You can't have him lose this first match out, and I don't think you should. I think the company is more interesting with Cena as a heel being champion. The opponents are endless, and even the old foes that he has, like Randy Orton, like CM Punk, those all become fresher because he's a heel. So yeah, this is a big opportunity, and I think they take a big swing, and I think they put the belt on Cena.
Yeah, like I said, I think you have to at this point. Cody going wire to wire, WrestleMania to WrestleMania. That's great. It's not going to be his only run with the WWE Championship. It's not like we're saying this. He's going to be the guy to take it back off of John Cena, right? That, and then you can build to whatever you're going to do at WrestleMania 42, whether it's Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, whether it's Cody Rhodes and The Rock finally, or maybe they'll do Rock and Roman, or maybe Jacob Fatu would be a very interesting name. Who knows who's going to be hot at this point next year? There's a lot of different things you could do. I think you could have Cody finally win the belt back. I don't know what. SummerSlam might be a little, cliche, but maybe you could do SummerSlam.
Whatever Cena's last match is going to be.
Series, or Cena's last match, and maybe. Yeah. But you kind of need that redemption tour for John too, because I don't think he retires as a heel.
Yeah, he'll shake Cody's hand in a flip back babyface because of that at the end after Cody.
If you want to turn it back babyface, just have him wrestle Logan Paul. That's just that'll get the job done. We appreciate everybody tuning in to all 55 minutes of this, what was supposed to be 25-minute podcast. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to give us a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and enjoy WrestleMania weekend. And hey, you know what? Come back and watch this video again after the show's over, and you can just see how entirely wrong we all were. Take care, everybody. Enjoy.